What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the video. My name is Josh. I am the owner of the Funnel Experience. What a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for your time. We're going to get straight into it. I want you to leave this training knowing exactly how to get world-class funnels on Go High Level. And I'm also going to go through some of the other tricky stuff and make it easy for you, like automations. So with that being said, get your Go High Level account set up. If you've already got one, perfect. We're going to create a new funnel. Now, you're probably asking, should I use these templates that they give me? In my experience, same with ClickFunnels, a lot of these, they're just purely to like have them on there. There's not really a time when I see any of these and think, all right, that one is going to be killer for the goal I have. This is why I want us to get into the habit of making our own and understanding how to make our own. And obviously, you can see under this video, there is a couple of ways for you to get started even faster. Check them out, click around while I'm talking. So we are going to call this test funnel. And what we're going to do is going to give us a blank slate. And I'm going to show you in about 10 minutes how we can create something world-class, better than any of these templates can do, because there's just a couple of things you need to know. Now, we are going to start off with what we call a lead funnel. Now, there is a thing called the value ladder. Leads, sales, and clients. Every business has it. Some businesses don't use all of those steps, but every business at some point has somebody who's free, who is interested, looking for this solution, somebody who's willing to pull their card out of the wallet and actually pay for something. It could be little, it could be big, and somebody who is willing to go the extra mile and sign up or apply and book in a call for that higher ticket service that you offer. Does this make sense? Yes. Sweet. So once we load up our funnel, we're going to add a new step, and this is going to be our lead opt-in page. And what this basically means is people are going to be giving us our emails, right, in exchange for a freebie. And the path, don't worry about the path right now, just add some gobbledygook in there. And of course, you've got that import thing. We don't worry about that. We know how to create them from scratch. And then you're going to go create from blank. Okay, now there is a time saver and it is below, as I say, just go and get those templates. But I'm going to show you how we can go faster. So all you need for a lead funnel and I've tested this myself, I've had as high as 80% opt-ins. I've never seen anything like it. I've never even heard anyone else getting that high opt-ins, and it's for a swipe file. In fact, you'll see that down below as well. If you keep scrolling on this screen, you'll see my free swipe file. You can get it with no opt-in. I mean, you've already opted in once, right? So long story short is I've tested this. There is a layout which is by far the best layout I can show you, and it requires a couple of sections, and this one we're going to have a footer. This one is going to be a header. All right, that's where you put your logo. Typically the logo one is just a one column. Stick it on width, entire width. Get your padding down to 2, and then you're going to get your blue, the column row, down to 5. And all we're doing basically is we're trying to make it look clean, right? We want it to actually look good. Image, and then the height. This is where you're going to put in your logo. And I would stick it somewhere around 30 to 50 height. It depends how wide it is, of course, but you don't want it to be too big. And then put it on the left on desktop and change this to mobile and whack it in the middle. And this is going to be a lifesaver for making sure everything is mobile optimized. That is another big part of what we do here at the Funnel Experience. Is I want you to know how to make it look sexy on mobile, which is where most people actually are. So this is where you're going to add your logo. This here is where you're going to add your footer. Look, I'm not going to waste your time and like start adding in a bunch of stuff here, but here's a couple of tips for you. Normally, I want to put it on some kind of gray, so not white, but we can get like some like gray like this. That's where you're going to put your Facebook ads terms. You're going to put privacy policies, terms and conditions. Oftentimes you'll see as well like copyright, the company name and the year. So all of that is going to go down here. Whack it on 14, and on mobile, put it down to like 11. You don't want it to be big. You know what I mean? Like it's not that important as long as people can see it. So that's the boring stuff out the way. Now for the good stuff. You want to add a 2-column row. On the left, you're going to have an image. And on the right is where we're going to have, first of all, you're going to click for the form. I'll explain that in a second for you. And then we're going to have a title. So we're going to have a headline. We're going to have a sub-headline and some form of checklist. Now, above this, I want you to add a 1 column above all of this, copy your sub-headline, whack that on there, and this is the layout that I've spent thousands of pounds on ads to test. This is it. Now all you have to do is fill in the blanks, right? So what do you have in here? Well, from my experience, this is the best place to call out your target market. And I'll give you one better. I have tested a positive versus a negative headline here. For example, let's just say you're working in the fitness coaching space and it's like, ready to lose weight. Well, that one, it's not really positive or negatively charged, that one. You could say sick and tired of being overweight. That one is a pain-based one, right? Or you could put ready to kickstart your new workout routine. So you could also put, driven to start working out in 2024. Which one of these do you think has performed better in the past? It is not the bottom two. The pain-based call-outs have performed best for me every time. And that's for my templates, for the swipe file, for trainings. So do with that information what you will, but let's just say we're going to go with the pain one. I actually want to make this a bit smaller. Again, we want to clean things up here. So I'll go for about 18, and on mobile, I'm going to go 14, and we're going to add an icon in the advanced. That is not where it is. That's where it is on ClickFunnels. Down here, just scroll under the align. We are going to add a little icon. I sometimes go for the explanation circle. You can go for a question mark. You can go for a person. So you can choose one of those, but we're going to choose this one. And the icon color will make it red. So now we're calling out our ideal audience, right? Now the padding of this, I actually want to bring that to be a bit tighter. So I'm going to make that 5 and 5. And this one here, I'm going to make it 10 and 10. So I just want to like shift everything up. And here is another tip for you. For mobile, we want to make sure that all of this good stuff is immediately visible, including the button. Like that's really the goal, is to get it all in there. So what do we do now? Before we start messing with all of these headlines, firstly, I'm going to bring the size down and normally go between 20 and 30 is always good. So 24 is oftentimes my favorite. Another thing you can do as well is I highly recommend adding some padding to the left and right of these things. And that's because on mobile, sometimes it can just be a bit too close to the edge and it doesn't look that nice. Right, so for the headline, what we're going to do is actually to counteract that negative kind of call out. We're going to say free checklist shows you how to finally get in your best shape ever in 2024. And the sub headline, of course, we're going off the cuff here, but it's always something like without this pain or without this, repeating the same bad habits, right? So even if you've tried dieting, PTs, and workout routines in the past without results. So that's the kind of vibe. And again, I'm going to make this 18. And on mobile, again, we're just going to clean this up. I want to center this on mobile, by the way. I think that looks way cleaner. Here we can go 14. Perfect. And it's a little close to the headline. So I'm just going to add a 5 padding to the top there. So what you're already starting to see is how I'm working as a funnels guy and what are the normal changes that I make. I'm noticing on mobile that the logo header is a little bit too much, you know, it doesn't need to be that much. And I think it's to do with the padding of this one. Yeah, that's the only one we didn't change is the pink. So you've got green, blue, and pink. And I just need to make sure that you have, you know, bring all the padding down. Likewise with the logo here, it gives it 10 padding top and bottom. So now we're golden, right? This is going to be perfect. And sometimes you might decide to have a little background color for that header as well. So if we was to do that with black, you see now how it's really nice and clean. It's not too thick. And on mobile, it looks great. We've still got room for everything else. Now it's starting to come together. The checklist, what you can do is add an icon here to make it look like really nice. My go-to is type yes, and you get these proper nice ticks in boxes or circles, and then change it to either blue or green, whatever you fancy. One of those colors to, you know, stay with the branding. We're going to go with a blue color for this on our underline. And this is where you can control a lot of things, right? So you can make the bold a different color, the underline a different color, italic a different color. So you can say here like best shape ever if we want to italicize it and make that the same blue. You know what I mean? So it's all starting to come together now. I'm going to just adjust this slightly. What I think I might want to do is bring this in a bit. My go-to is normally 80 or 90, as long as the image is cool and this headline looks clean. And now, because we added some padding to this headline earlier, I'm going to add it again to the sub headline. And you'll see, once you've started making a few funnels on mobile, you'll see why it's important to fix that. Now, the checklist, I normally go with 16, and on mobile, 14. And the reason is just to clean it up. It doesn't need to be too big. I think 16 is going to be better here, and maybe 18 for this. And this is literally where you describe the checklist. So it could be like, you know, 35 key things that everyone needs to implement, like a 7-day workout routine guaranteed to help you lose weight. It could be like 10 secrets from our private clients to accelerate your weight loss. You are really just putting in like the core benefits of this thing. Make it sexy, make it attractive. Why should people care about this? Now, the line height, you want it to be maybe 2 for this. Another thing you can do is put it on like 1.2, but then do a space under each one. And I'm doing space and then backspace. So it creates like an extra line without putting too much spacing in between those, you know, individual checklist items. So based on the length, I'm going to put it back to 16. And then we have our form and our mock-up. All right, welcome back to part 2. Now we're going to get into the mock-up and a couple other little things to optimize this to be perfect and ready to go, including the form, the automations and stuff like that. But don't worry, there'll be a timestamps like list below, so you can just click into the most important thing if you want to skip to that. So you can use Canva for your templates. There is also a very good website that I've always used called Media Modifier. They do some of the best course mockups I've seen, and I use them in every project. Now, you can go and sign up for this if you want to, of course, and I understand some of you won't be able to do that. So instead, we're going to go ahead here and use Canva. Now, again, I've just searched like mockups. You can go to design, search for mockup, and there's a bunch of different things. Now, on this example, we're going to do a checklist, right? So I like this one because it's got an iPad. It's got a couple of checklist things. So the size for this is probably going to be somewhere around A4. So we can create our A4 design. Oh, I swear I just clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. So now we've got our A4 design. This is all going to be about fitness, right? So one of my favorite sites to use for photography is Pexels. I also have subscriptions for stuff like Free Pick and these other things, but don't worry about that. We are going to do health, right? We want to have like a nice weight loss. Could be this. picture here. Again, I don't want this to be perfect. I just literally want to show you the steps, and then you can go and, find the perfect image and stuff like that. So we're going to have this guy here. We can put a nice gradient color overlay, and this is something that I'll come back to as well in terms of the gradients. So let's find a nice one. How about this one? Awesome. And all we're going to do is bring transparency down like so. Again, I personally use Photoshop for a lot of these mockups, but I understand not everybody has Photoshop. So this is just one way that you can immediately get started. Now we're doing blue, so that's going to be our color scheme for this. I'm just going to pick 3 blues like that really quickly. And this is going to be, let's go back to 35. So whenever you're designing a mockup, if there's a number involved, and this is what Sabri Subi teaches in his course, is have a big number, have that to stand out. Now I'm going to use white because it stands out and looks nicer on this. So 35 secrets. Now I'm going to make this all caps, probably around 70. Let's put that up. I want this to be behind secrets. Come on, man. Work with me here. Canva. There we go. All right. To getting in your best shape ever. And one of the things that I want you to think about with mockups is which words do you want to prioritize? So getting in your isn't that important, but best shape ever in 2024, those are way more important. So what I'm going to do just to make it easy for me is duplicate this. And by holding Alt, I'm being able to drag and duplicate that. I'm going to put this on its own text box. Best shape ever. Obviously, the line spacing needs to come right in here. And then what I can do, just drag this in, and I can scale it up that way. So 35 secrets to getting in your best shape ever in 2024. Now, make sure this is all centered. One thing you can do is select it all, press group, and then go to position and make sure it's in the middle and center. Now we have our design. I'm going to share, download as a PNG. Once this loads, I'm going to download it. And then we're going to be able to go back to our mockup and actually drag this in to all of our pages here. So let's whack this in like this and like this. Now, because I'm going for speed, one of the things that you can do is create a different page. For example, your actual checklist, I would make this second page because it's slightly hidden, right? It's curious. People can't see the whole thing. So that's what I would do. And just to like demonstrate this, what I'll do is, look, I'll duplicate this page. We'll take away the guy. We'll ungroup some of this text, and I'm going to make one of these black or blue. Blue will do for now. So this is going to be like, number 1 title here. It will be left align. So when you're doing, some kind of checklist, it's going to have green ticks. So we can go to elements. We can get a tick like this one. And, this is my font. You can choose whatever font you want. And it's going to look something like this. And underneath, we can have a normal font. I'm just going to just find a random one. If you ever need to find some clean fonts, type sans. That is basically where like the really modern fonts are. And it's going to look something like this, and just for speed, I'm going to screenshot this instead of saving it properly. Right, let's get this file, drag her in here. Like that. So you see how it's starting to come together. Now, the only thing I would do is remove all of the other rubbish around this. So we've just got our the core of what we want here. Let me detach the image. Now, with this one specifically, I don't really want all of this empty space up here. So in this instance, because this image is actually the iPad is part of the background image. Unfortunately, I want, I do want to keep that. So it's just a case of this template here. I didn't pick the right one, but in an ideal world, we'd want a transparent background, right? But in fact, it's no big deal. One thing that we can do, and this is a little trick for you as well. Let's say I would delete this part, is I can actually grab this. I'm going to make it bigger, almost to the size of the entire thing. And you'll see a little trick that I often do. Let me just move the zoom thing out of the way. Like this. And it is duplicating this one and rotating it a few times. And what this will do is actually allow you to create that sense of value with even more pages, right? And some of these might need a little shadow in here as well. So we'll do a drop shadow, bit more blur and a bit less intensity. And in fact, I'm going to duplicate that one since we've already done the shadow like that. And this one, instead of being where it is there, I'm going to put it over all of them like this. Okay, so we've created this kind of composition of the pages. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be our mock-up. Now, I'm personally not on Canva Plus. Like I say, I do have Photoshop. But if you have Plus, you can do a transparent background. Right now, this isn't perfectionism time. I'm just going to download this and whack it in, and whatever it looks like, it looks like. But if you can get a transparent background, that'll be ideal, right? Now, another trick before we continue, when you create graphics for your funnel, it doesn't matter what it is, go to this website and compress it first. And we're going to drag our mockup in. This basically just brings down the file size and keeps the load speeds high. So I do this with my clients, every single graphic that goes onto my funnel. Now I can add this to our media library, and ta-da! Now we have our mockup. This is starting to come together, right? Would you agree? How do we take this to the next level? There's only a couple other things besides what we've done, besides the form. And here is one of them. Duplicating our sub headline and making it down to 14. On mobile, we're going to make it down to 12. What we're actually going to do is search for the star emoji. Now, proof is one of the biggest things that you are going to need for your funnels. So, of course, we're going to copy in the 5 stars. Now, this is where you can add a genuine piece of credibility. Nothing fake. Promise me you don't put a fake stat in here. Maybe it is how many people you've impacted, how many clients you've served, or eventually, once people start downloading this, you're going to be able to share how many people are enjoying this guide. So let's just put, 367 people helped already with this guide. And this is a proof element that's going to be really important. I am going to buff that out by 10 pixels and make sure it looks nice on mobile. So are you starting to see how this is coming together? Now, I mentioned there is a couple things that we need to do other than the form. One of them is changing the order on mobile. And this involves, once you've done your mockup, I want you to duplicate it and drag it under the title, under the sub headline as well. And I am going to make it a little bit smaller. So maybe 300 wide, and put a little 10 pixels buff on top. The bottom is fine just because of how I did it on Canva. Same with this. If the checklist, if you think it looks a little bit too spacious, don't worry, just adjust the spacing. So now we need this one here to be desktop only and this one here to be mobile only. And we officially have our funnel. The only thing to do is the form and the automations. So let's get right into that. There's one thing I'm dying to do here and I'm dying to teach you. And it is with this call out, you can actually do a more of a bold color to it as a way to stand out, right? So we just have to make our text white and our icon also white. And this section, this row, rather the blue row, actually no, the pink one here is too tall. So I'm just going to change the padding on that. And another thing you can do, I'm giving you all the tricks, so you're welcome. I'm going to add a border radius and then take that border off. That just gives it rounded edges. So now we have our funnel and it is ready. I'm just going to save it, ready to do the form. Now, go over to your funnels, sites, and forms and go to add forms, start from scratch. Again, we don't need any templates. We want to get in the habit. Like, how long has it been? What, 20, 25 minutes? And we have a world-class funnel from scratch, better than any template Go High Level can give you. So we have our basic form. All you want for a lead magnet is a name and an email. Maybe you want to collect a phone too, but generally, you don't need to do that. So terms and conditions, this is something that you can also take off. They have a lot of fields on the side. If you have a look, they've changed it. What have they done? Here we go. Go High Level are always updating stuff, right? So here you can add in the different fields. These are the three that I personally always want. And I want this to be required, of course. And the button is going to be download now, free. Again, we want people to know that this is actually free, right? I mean, we have it here. Make this capital letters. You want the form to say free, just so there's no confusion, right? Okay, so over on the right-hand side, there's this little styles and options thing. Now, all we want to do is we want to change a couple of things, right? First of all, we don't want a background and we don't want any shadow. So just get rid of those. We also don't want a border, which is somewhere here, border. So change that to 0. And you can see now we're just left with the fields and we want it to be nice and clean. So what we're going to do is take away the padding like this. The width you can keep the same and you can mess around with this stuff if you have to. But the field style looks good. The button for me, I think it can be a little bit taller. So with the padding here, the top is currently 9. I'm just going to change that to 14 pixels. And I'm happy with the font size. I don't want to, screw around with this too much. But the only thing that's on my mind is grabbing that blue from earlier and having our button be that blue. We'll see if it tells us what it is. Okay, it's not going to tell us. It's going to be a pain. But just for the sake of speed, I'm going to pull a random blue. Make sure, you have your color codes all sorted. And we can change that in here. Perfect. Save that form. The name, I'm going to do test. And it's the 31st of Jan. Everyone have a great February from tomorrow. And we're going to go back to our funnel. We might have to save and refresh this. So that's what I'm going to do. But after this, we'll have our funnel. We'll have our form. And then we'll have our automations. And I'll go into that in just a second here. But once you've created your form, all you do is go to the forms element. And it is going to be called test 31st of Jan. And now that's plugged straight in to our funnel right here. So who is enjoying this? Who feels like this was a valuable training so far I've shown you exactly the best layout, how to do it, all the tricks of the trade. And the final thing, I mean, there's a couple little things that as they show up, I'm, going to explain to you. You want to change this SEO metadata here. Once you save your funnel, before you publish, I normally just make it the title, like free checklist, best shape ever. And you can put your name here as well as the SEO metadata. Perfect. So what we can do is we can just give this a little preview. We have to be, proud of our work and give it a little look. And now we have a funnel. You see, it's coming together and we can be really proud of it. There is a couple things that I would say, and this is my decision making. So who is noticing there's a little imbalance in the left and the right section? We don't want that. The goal is to have it look as clean and balanced as possible, or at least for me. So I'm starting to think, what can I move? What can I change places to sort of even this out a little bit? And I'm going to put our proof element and the title above. and center those. I'm going to make this here about 70. You see how it brings it nice to like two even lines. And then this here is way more balanced. Who's seeing that? I don't need the padding on the bottom of this one, and I can reduce some of the padding here down from 10 to 5. And remember, we have to fix the mobile one on here because we've made a couple of changes. So let's have a look. And this one too, don't forget the subheading. Awesome. This column here, I believe that's our mockup, right? Yes. Okay. So I've just completely ruined our whole funnel here. All I want to do is I'm going to make this entire column on desktop only. There we go. Cool. Now with this one, I don't need any top padding now because of the changes we've made. It's made it look perfect in the end. So we can make this 0 and 0. All right. We officially have the funnel. It's looking sick on mobile. It's looking even better on desktop. Now I've made these changes and I've given you the ability to see when there is need for changes, when there's, the sections aren't looking balanced. It looks like too out of place. Now it's looking clean. So we go to the automations now. Create workflow, start from scratch. Again, we don't need this rubbish. We don't need them. Workflows are so easy. This is why it's going to be like 60 seconds on this training as we close out. There's triggers and actions. The trigger defines how the workflow starts. So in this instance, it's going to be a form is submitted. We can add a filter, and this shows which form it is. And it's this one. Now, you can also do some extra stuff, if there's custom fields and stuff. Generally, this is all you need to do. Now you can make any action that you want. Now this trigger is set. Most importantly, it's going to be an email, right? We're going to want to send people an email saying like, here is your checklist or your training or your webinar, whatever your lead magnet is. That's going to be action number 1. And here, let me just add these things in right here and save. You might also want to do an opportunity. So what this basically means is there's pipelines, right? There's a CRM inside of Go High Level. Now you can have pipeline stages. Like for me, I've got here new leads. The opportunity name might be checklist, Facebook ads, or, opportunity source. You can put Facebook ads here instead. You can give them a value if you want to and save that action. Now, the only other thing you might want to do is an internal notification. So you can actually send yourself an email saying like, hey, Josh, we got a new lead. I do this for all of my workflows. So I know like who's booking in calls, who's becoming a lead, who's opting in for my funnels. It just keeps me in the know. So that is another action that you want to do. But this is it. This is all you need to do because now somebody is going to arrive, fill in the form, and get the email. The only thing, like, you can do anything you want from here. You can create a sequence of more emails every day, send them an email to upsell. You've got to be thinking, what's the next step? Booking in a call with you, buying one of your low ticket products. So this is where you can start building your emails up. So you do a send email, then you're going to do a waiting period of a day, and you can start to build up your sequences, right? So is this making sense? Perfect. We're going to save this and we're going to come back because the final part is actually how to deliver this. Now, for me, there's a couple of options. Number 1, you can use Dropbox, or number 2, if the file, let's say it's a PDF, if it's small enough, you can host it on Go High Level's platform. And I'm going to show you how. Okay, so we are here in the memberships tab, and this is where you can actually host all of your digital files. Now, you see here, I have one for myself called Funnel Fonts. This is where I host all of my fonts for clients and my own projects. So it's really cool. And I show you how in the Ultimate GHL Funnels bundle below. You can go and check that out because we have an even more efficient way of getting top branding adding custom fonts, custom colors, and all of that. And this is the strategy we use. So once you've created this, it's called courses and products. You're going to create a product. It's essentially a new course, and there's a files tab, and you can actually upload your files and host them here. And then once you've done that, just press preview, scroll down, select the one that is your PDF, and you're literally, let's just pretend it's this one, Sarah Bun. You're going to copy link address, and in your automation emails, that is what you're going to send people to, either through a button on a thank you page. That is also something I would highly recommend, is creating a thank you page. And let's just quickly show you how to whip that together as well, because it's really, really simple. We're going to go back. We're going to create another funnel step, but we're going to do it from the one that we've just spent all this hard work and time doing, right? We want efficiency. So really, really simple. All we're going to do is call this thank you, like so. We're going to click in, and we're going to fix our nice and easy thank you page. Now, we don't need the form. We don't need the checklist. All we really need to do is put congratulations. Here's your guide. I'm going to make this all not underlined. Click the button to download instantly. We got our graphic. I think it's quite nice to keep our graphic there. I do this personally on the thank you page. And then you're just going to add a button. And again, we've got our color code. Luckily, we can select the right one here. There we go. And you are going to go button actions, website URL, and put it in there. So now access here instantly. Is this making sense? Is this like simple as fuck, right? The only thing you could do here is add a little icon like that, access here instantly, and we'll just check it on mobile. So I forgot we made this one. We made this column here mobile only last time, or desktop only. And we can put this on 2 lines. I think it looks better like that on mobile. If I can even spell as well, that'll be all right. But we have it. And you can also add that same link on the image. So go to website URL and do the same thing, just in case people click on that as well. Now, final touches for efficiency. Global sections are going to help you so much. Anytime you have something that you want on multiple steps, you don't need to duplicate it twice. What we're going to do is save our header. We're going to call it test header and add it as a global section. Same with our footer. And what this means is anytime you make a change inside these things, it will update across every single funnel step. This is what my funnel templates have included in them. If you click below to learn more about it, you'll see that. But what this does is it just saves you so much time. So all we need to do now is go back and re-add those sections as the global ones. And any changes you make will happen to both. Because you see here how this is green. We don't want the green one. You'll see the difference now. Test header. Now it's purple. So this is where we get the power of that. So I'm going to add the footer, and we are literally done. So now we have a funnel. We can test it. I'm going to open it up here, and I'm going to put in my email, download for free. This is a good lesson. We made a mistake. The form hasn't gone to the next page. How do we fix that? The button actions, when you click on the form, just go to next step, save, and we're done. This is a good learning curve, because potentially one of you will fall into this trap as well. You'll have the same issue. Now, when we opt in, we're going to go straight to our thank you page, download the guide, click there, and that is how you make a world-class funnel in half an hour. So if you have enjoyed this and you are looking for a faster way, you've seen the 2 options below the whole time you're watching this training. I would highly recommend the bundle. What this is the top three funnels, the leads, the sales, and the clients, and you can import it straight away. All of this hard work is done. All of the padding is perfect. The mobile is perfect. The graphics, the mock-up templates are in there. The copywriting systems. We also have our brand new specials funnel. Now it's three extras for you. I'm going to scroll down so you can see it's these three here. And these are the ones that you get to plug straight into your account. All of them, all of these three have three different brandings. You can see them all here. We have a gold and black, we have a blue and white, and we have a yellow and dark blue. Now we also have each of our specials with its own unique style. And you can literally copy and paste the code and it will transfer to whichever funnel you want to use that branding style. So 6 brandings, 6 funnels, every one you need is necessary. This bundle isn't about filling your account with bullshit and too many things, just unnecessary. Is the 3 core funnels you need in your business to get the lead and the opt-ins, to get the sales, and to get applications and calls booked. So if this is something you're curious about, again, you can click below this training somewhere and you can find the access to that and learn more about it. Underneath that is my done for you service. If you're at a certain level, you can apply for that. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this training and got some value from it. And it's been a pleasure. Go out there, make this funnel, launch your thing, and impact your audience with it. With that being said, I'll catch you later. Peace.